guys to the rear cross. We're doing the rear cross because it's an important skill to have. You can't always be in front of your dog to change your handling side. So we use a rear cross when we need to handle the dog from behind and our dog's in front of us. So the key point with a rear cross is you must be behind your dog. So your dog must be driving out in front. The key points in a rear cross is this line that I've got on the ground. So you need to know where your dog's path is going, because in a rear cross, for them to know that the turn is coming, we need to have change from this side of the handling line to this side of the dog's line. And changing across their dog's line is what tells them that we're changing sides. So a key point to know why we need to do that is because if I'm standing on this side of the dog's line, the dog is on its right lead leg. So you'll see dogs will always be on the lead leg closest to you. So it'll be coming along on this lead leg. Now, for it to turn that way, it needs to change legs because it's impossible for a dog to turn that way while on this lead leg. So a lot of the times you'll see if rear crosses are done late on courses, there'll be many of you that have seen this, and it's happened to me, where you'll do the rear cross and the dogs take off the jump as you're doing it and they can't change their lead leg. So the dogs will land this way, do the circle, and then go the way you want them to. And that's because they haven't had a chance to change their lead leg. The other thing they tend to do is they tend to try and do the best they can for us. So if I've just crossed the line as my dog's trying to jump, they've gone, holy hell, she's changed sides, and all of a sudden try and change lead legs as they're jumping. That's usually when you see this bar come down. So what we want to happen is that just before the dog's about to take off, so I'll stride before takeoff, we want to be crossing their path so that the dog goes, oh, she's changed sides, I can change the lead leg, and then I can prepare to jump and take the turn properly. So that's the key thing to remember, and the most important thing to remember in a rear cross is you need to be across this dog's line at least a stride before takeoff, and that's what's going to get the nice clean turn that way. So if we think about our 7 handling elements to get that, the key one, of course, always is motion. So in a rear cross, the rear cross is going to look something like this into the tunnel. So remember, with motion, if you speed up, the dog will speed up. If you slow down, the dog will slow down. So the problem here is if you're running along and you're so used to trying to get in front of your dog that you actually get to this obstacle before they do, and you think, holy moly, I was going to do a rear cross there and now I'm in front of my dog, and you slow down, then the dog's going to read that deceleration and potentially pull off this obstacle or stop fully. So we want to make sure we moderate our pace so that the dog is in front of us at obstacle 2. So our motion's going forward, and then just before the stride, before takeoff, our motion goes across the dog's line. In terms of position, we want to be positioned reasonably close to the dog's line, because remember, we need to go across the dog's line before they take the obstacle. So if I'm this close, about even with the edge of the wings, I can be across the dog's line in like 1.5 steps. If I'm a bit wider, it takes me 1, 2, 3, 4 steps to get across the dog's line. So that's the reason why we want to be a bit closer to the dog's line in this point. So if we think about connection here now, remember, dogs feel connection no matter what. So as my dog's coming through here, I'm looking at my dog, and then connection continues to follow it. Even though it's jumping in front of me, I'm still staying connected with my dog. So I might be looking at its tail, but my connection stays with it, and that helps it take that jump, even though my motion starts to go this way. My chest is the same. So as we're coming through here, my chest is saying take this obstacle, and it stays at the obstacle until the dog lands, and then I can change it to the new direction, because my chest pointing towards that obstacle is what helps the dog stay committed, even though my motion starts to go this way. Next are my feet. So the feet are going to be the one thing that change from going towards this obstacle. So as we're coming through, my feet are going forward to say take this obstacle, and then about to stride before takeoff, I need to get across the dog's line, so my feet change direction to go in the new direction we're going after the obstacle. So that is what changes this time. The feet change and my motion goes this way. If I think about my hands also support this obstacle, because I'm going that way, so I need to help the dog stay out here. So my hand stays with my chest and my connection as the dog's taking the jump. So remember when we talk about the 7 handling elements and we say motion is king and number 1, and in this case you would think, okay, well if I'm going that way the dog's going to want to come with me. That's why we combine elements. So motion might be number 1 and my motion changes from here to that direction, but if I stack up some of the others, so my chest, my hand, my gaze all say take this obstacle, even though my motion starts to go this way. So we need that balance of cues. So the other handling elements that I own are saying take the obstacle while my motion's going that way, and that's how we can overcome motion as the overriding element. The other thing is, if you've got a lower drive dog, which I would use with Cooper, is to give them my go, go, go command. So I have a verbal that says go, 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 which means drive out in front of me and take everything in front of you. And I use that normally on a run home when he's driving down the line. So in this case, if motion is really important to the dog, if I give him the go, go, go command, it helps him stay focused on what's in front of him, even though my motion goes the other way. So that's how verbals can help in this respect. So that's rear-crosses in a nutshell. The key points to remember: 1, you must be behind your dog. So in this case, you need your dog driving in front of you. 2, you need to cross the line, the dog's line, 1 stride before takeoff. So remember, we've worked out where our takeoff point is. So roughly 1 stride before takeoff, they need to know that the turn is coming, and you need to be across that line to do that. So I want you to concentrate on making sure the dog's driving in front of you, keeping your eyes, your chest and your hand towards the obstacle at number 2, while your feet are moving the other way. So we're going to be coming through, going through, and then tunnel, tunnel, tunnel. So that's rear crosses in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please let me know.